The year is 845 AD. You awaken to the sound of horns blaring across the cold northern sea. You are standing on the shore of a terrified village in Francia. Black sails rise on the horizon. Longships slice through the waves, filled with screaming warriors. The Vikings are coming. Within minutes, the town will burn. Men are cut down, children dragged away. But what they do to the wives of their enemies is far more disturbing than the bloodshed. Tonight, you will witness horrors that scarred Europe forever. Welcome to Forgotten Historians, where history is not just told, it's lived. Here, we step into the forgotten corners of the past and walk through the most chilling and powerful moments as if we were really there. If you love experiencing history like never before, hit subscribe and join our journey through time. You stand among the terrified villagers. The Viking longships crash ashore. Axes gleam in the firelight. Shields bang like thunder. Men try to fight back but are slaughtered quickly. For Vikings, war isn't just about victory, it's about domination. To break an enemy completely, they didn't just kill the men, they targeted what mattered most, the women. The wives of fallen enemies were seen as spoils of war, trophies to display power. You hear the screams as warriors drag women into the open. For the Vikings, this wasn't cruelty for cruelty's sake. It was a message: resist us, and your bloodline will be humiliated forever. You are pulled through the crowd as the Vikings gather women in the town square. Their method was as psychological as it was physical. Wives of chiefs and warriors were stripped of dignity before their people. Sometimes, they were paraded like livestock. Other times, forced into slave markets where they would be auctioned off to the highest bidder. The humiliation was deliberate. By defiling the wives of their enemies, the Vikings sent a chilling signal. Not even your family, your honor, or your legacy was safe from their reach. You can see the despair on the villagers' faces, a fate worse than death for many. Your vision shifts. You are inside a Viking longhouse, smoky and crowded. Women sit chained in the corner, their eyes hollow. Some were forced into concubinage, others turned into servants. Viking raiders trafficked thousands of women across Europe, from the British Isles to the markets of Constantinople. The wives of nobles and leaders were prized most. By owning them, a Viking could boast not just of conquest, but of breaking an entire lineage. Each woman represented both wealth and power, and a constant reminder to enemies of what awaited them if they resisted. But enslavement wasn't the only fate. In some raids, women were subjected to ritual abuse meant to terrorize survivors. Chroniclers describe how Vikings would force women to watch the torture of their husbands or sons, then mark them as property of the conquerors. Standing in the flickering torchlight, you hear chants, the clash of drinking horns, and the laughter of warriors celebrating not just victory, but domination. These rituals were less about lust and more about psychological warfare. The message was clear: the Vikings do not simply kill, they erase. You walk through the smoldering ruins of the village. Corpses litter the streets. The women who remain are broken, their families shattered. Some are forced onto ships, never to see their homeland again. Others are left behind, marked forever by what was done to them. Europe would never forget. For centuries, tales of Viking cruelty spread, whispered in monasteries, recorded in chronicles, and burned into cultural memory. To enemies, the Vikings weren't just raiders. They were nightmares made flesh, haunting even after they were gone. As the longships vanish over the horizon, you feel the silence of a world forever changed. The Vikings may be remembered for their exploration, trade, and empire building. But for those who lived through their raids, it was the screams of wives and daughters that echoed loudest. The true power of the Vikings wasn't only in their axes and sails, it was in the fear they carved into the hearts of their enemies. And tonight, you witnessed why. If this journey shook you, subscribe to Forgotten Historians for more travels through history's darkest corners. Because the past isn't just about glory, sometimes it's about survival.